Ravindranath, who joins us live from London. Welcome to the programme. Now, this study, well, published in the journal Science, has looked at all of the world's more than 200,000 glaciers, and it's found that the world's glaciers are shrinking and vanishing faster than scientists thought. You're a scientist. Has this surprised you, and what has surprised you in this?
No, it was very well known. There have been studies over the years which showed that glaciers have been melting and they'll melt in the coming decades at a faster rate. The unique thing about this study is that they looked at each and every one of the more than 200,000 glaciers. So I think, and especially they showing that even if Paris goal is achieved of stabilizing warming at 1.5 degree, you would still lose half of the glacier. That was one of the major, new findings from this study.
And so given that, how late are we to save glaciers, for example, even the bigger ones or the smaller ones?
The smaller ones will vanish. I mean, normally the focus has been so far on the larger glaciers, in Alaska, in Arctic Canada, and so on. But now this study has shown that smaller glaciers, which are very important to hundreds of millions of people, they would become extinct. They would disappear. That's the one which affects hundreds of millions of people around the world.
And when you have this sort of study that is published and that is so alarming, where does it go next? How does it reach policy makers or people that can really make a difference?
Policymakers are aware of the impact of global warming on glacier loss, because IPCC, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change Studies, have highlighted this. And of course, the policymakers have realized that, as agreed in Paris Agreement 2015 and Glasgow in 2021, Sharm el-Sheikh in 2022, there is a broad consensus among the policymakers that we have to halt global warming at 1.5 degree. But the actions on the ground do not seem that we are anywhere near that. According to this study and many other studies, the world could warm between 2.7 to 3.3 degrees. Whereas, this study shows even if you can manage to hold warming at 1.5 degree, you would still lose 50% of the glacier. That's the biggest worry.
And what about the impact on sea levels? What would that do?
The impact of sea level would happen. One is because of loss of glaciers, and expansion of oceans due to thermal warming. And I think that's going to lead to probably tens of millions of people who are living in low-lying areas, particularly in countries such as Bangladesh or India and Philippines and so on. Their livelihood, their homes would be submerged. So the biggest challenge is, how we're already late. Can we at least hold the global warming to 1.5 degree as agreed by the policymakers from every president and prime minister? The challenge is the funding, technology, and political commitment.
Indeed. And when we look at, as we just mentioned, this would destroy historic spots from Alaska to Mount Everest. These are such important places for humanity and, of course, the world and tourism. Could there be some sort of urgency that could, speed up and, as you say, stop the bigger glaciers from melting?
Yeah, I agree with you that, there are thousands of mountain communities. For them, glaciers are a part of their lives. Their lives surround around them. For them, loss of glaciers is loss of the cultural value, social value, apart from economic value. But there are a few things that can be done. For example, apart from global warming, even the black carbon soothed from, brick kilns, cooking wood, with wood in Nepal and, Bangladesh and India, or, industrial, emissions, they all also contribute to melting of the glaciers. So at least that is something which can be quickly stopped. There are, at least in South Asia, it has been shown that these contribute significantly, emission of, soot or black carbon from burning of biomass, diesel, and so on and so forth. Maybe we can control that. And also, of course, do our best, at least hold the global warming at 1.5 degree, so that at least we'll have 50% of the glaciers. Otherwise, 80 to 90% of the glaciers could be lost towards the end of the century. So we have a small hope, but some loss cannot be avoided at all at this stage. We are too late.
On that note, thank you very much indeed. Ecology Professor N.H. Ravindranath speaking to us from London. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.